My anger still lingers when I unfollow Gray down the basement, feeling both betrayed and confused by his confession. With a deep breath, I try to push it down, content to let it simmer until I find out exactly what it is that he had and his friends do down here. It feels important that I know, not just because this is my building and Gray is renting the basement from me, but because we've been growing closer and closer. And I need to know the kind of man that Gray Jansen really is. Gray pushes the door open and flicks on the lights, illuminating the small room. Looking around now, it still, seems the same as it always been. There's nothing out of the ordinary, nothing to give me a clue as to the activities this room has seen. So, what do you do down here? I turn to ask Gray, my hands resting on my hips impatiently. He tucks his head as he walks over to the bar and leans his elbows back against it before he finally sets eyes on me. It's simple, he says flatly. We play games. Gray, I sigh, growing tired of the charade. Not just the type of games I've led you to believe. He cuts in again, and before I can say more, I wave a hand in front of me as a sign for him to continue talking, and I can tell that by his posture that he's hesitant. After clearing his throat softly, he speaks again. Well, we play cards, poker, mostly. Poker? That doesn't sound so bad, I say. I've never played poker before, but I know it's only a card game. Now, how bad can it be? Well, there's money involved, a lot of it. The winner takes all, and the loser come back the next night, and the night after that, and the night after that. Gray explains. And at once I know why he was so reluctant to tell me the truth. It's an underground gambling ring, and I'm guessing he doesn't have the kind of licensing required for such a thing, seeing as how he's running it out of a basement of all places. I raise an eyebrow at the setup, scanning the bar and the large table in the middle of the room with a new perspective. So you're scamming people out of their money? I ask with an edge of my voice. From what I know of gambling, it's dangerous and it can ruin people's lives in more ways than one. They come here of their own free will. Gray shrugs it off, and they can leave any time they like, provided they've cleared their steps. It sounds illegal, I say, wrinkling my nose distastefully. It is, but all the best things are. Gray steps closer to me. I ignore his closeness, shoving my hands in the back pockets of my jeans and backing up. What do you get out of it? I continue, still curious about the setup he's got going on here. Players play to be at the table, he explains. So you make a pretty good living from this kind of business then, I conclude. I do alright, he says with the kind of smile that tells me he does much more than just alright. Although I could be doing better, that's where even comes in, he adds. I let out a heavy breath, having forgotten that one small detail for just a moment. I knew there had to be a good reason you kept him around. Gray huffs a small laugh, as if to agree. Personally, I can't think of many reasons one would have to keep a man like Even around at all. He seems more like a likability than anything else. All the money that passes through here is untaxed, which, as you already guessed, is illegal. Gray explains, even takes care of that side of the business. He launders the money, makes it look legitimate, while I run the games and bring in the big players. This system has been working for us for years, and in the end, we both walk away with our pockets full, he finishes. Something in my stomach turns sour. I have a weird feeling about what Gray is doing here, and especially Evan's involvement in it all. My first instinct is to tell him to shut it down, but I hold my tongue and think it through it a little more. I'm no stranger to the wrong side of the law, but all of this is happening in my building, putting my name and business at risk. Then again, Gray has been doing it for a long enough without getting caught, and I trust him to keep me out of trouble. When it comes down to it, the situation leaves me torn. I'm starting to think that I should increase your rent, I say, circling the table and giving him a sly smile. A surcharge for the illegal activities that go on down here. He chuckles quietly, shoving his hands in his pocket and looking over at me. I'll pay whatever you want, Gray says, and by the look on his face, I can tell he means it. I shake my head, a sign that I'm only joking. My business has been doing well enough on its own, and I wouldn't feel right about taking any more of his dirty money. With a sigh, I drum my fingers against the top of the table. I'm glad he told me about this, and even if the truth is a little unsettling. Will you show me how to play? I asked suddenly, giving him my best and brightest smile. If I'm going to let him continue running this business of his down here, then I might as well learn more about how it works. Gray folds his arms over his chest and pins me with a firm stare. All right, what will you bet? I hesitate. Can't you just play without bets? That's not how it works down here, he says with a shake of his head. I shrug, not willing to budge. I'm not wasting my money on a game. A smile breaks out across his face, and for a moment I wonder if that was the wrong thing to say. Strip poker it is, he grins. I'm not betting my clothes, I cry out. Gray chuckles at the sheer amount of horror on my face. Why not? Afraid you'll lose? Yes, exactly. I've never played this game before, I say firmly, folding my arms over my chest as though I might lose my shirt just by standing there talking about it. Gray looks me over, his eyes heavy-lidded and full of mischief as he drawls. Don't worry, I'll go easy on you. I don't believe you, I shoot back at him. He laughs at that. Good, because one thing you'll soon learn is that I'm extremely competitive. I pout. If that's your way of talking me into this, you're not doing a very good job. Come on, he says, giving me the best version of puppy dog eyes that he can muster. Don't you want to have a little fun? I try to resist that look on his face, but it's no use. Eventually, I sigh and drop my arms to my sides. Okay, fine, we'll play. I give in, but don't expect me to go easy on you either. Gray's smile widens, like the cat who got the cream. I wouldn't have it any other way. He procures a pack of cards from behind the bar, shuffling them between his hands before he saunters over to take a seat across the table from me. We'll start off with street card poker. It's the easiest to learn, he declares. The rules are simple. If I have a better hand than you then I win. And you have to remove a piece of clothing you bet. He gives me a meaningful look. So you can quit any time you like. I'll understand if you want to quit, if you want out. I smile quietly to myself. While it's nice of him to make me feel comfortable, the fact that he assumes I'll let him win so easily is amusing. And if I have a better hand, then I get to choose for you, I'll counter. We'll see if you get that far, he winks. I make a face at him, and he chuckles, dealing out the cards between us. My heart is fluttering in my chest, both nervous and excited for the game. I'm not quite sure what I'm getting myself into, but I've come too far to back down now, and whatever doubts I'm having are slowly fluttering away into nothingness. I want to do something just the two of us, he whispers against my skin between kisses. Will you let me come over and cook for you tomorrow night? You know how to cook? I tease him, earning a nip of his teeth that makes me giggle and turn around to face him. I'm pretty good in the kitchen, smartass, he says, placing a kiss on the tip of my nose. I bite down on my lip, but I've got zero chances of hiding the smile that breaks across my face. Okay, sure, I'd like that, I nod. Gray pulls me closer, slipping both of his arms around my waist. I snake my arms around his neck and blink up at him from beneath my lashes. I can hardly believe that the two of us have ended up like this, despite our pasts and the differences we've had to work through, and I'm definitely not complaining. I'm not complaining at all.